Shabbat Shalom, and on behalf of Bet David Santon, Bet Menorah Pretoria, and Bet David Durban, welcome to our service this evening. Your congregation needs your support, especially in these difficult times. The Management Committee wishes to thank congregants for continuing to pay their membership dues on time. We also wish to thank those members who sponsor the weekly services, as every donation is valued. To sponsor a virtual service, to celebrate a simcha, or in memory of loved ones, is one way to do this. If you wish to sponsor in the name of your business, the name of your business will scroll at the bottom of the opening screen and remain visible on the YouTube recordings of the service. This will afford an ongoing and online advertising for your firm. The service tonight is sponsored by Shine Londi Jacobs. The Shabbat candle tonight will be lit by Lynn Sherlock.
As these candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu mitzvotzav v'tivanu lahadlikne shel Shabbat. Good Shabbos.
Thank you, Lynn. When will this government learn when not to open its mouth? This time it is complaining about Israel opening observer ties with the African Union, with the Palestinian situation still unresolved. Now, for country C to take such a stand in an unconnected dispute between countries A and B is childish. Country A is criticized for legitimately seeking trade connections in agriculture, in technology, and economic development, all of which will help the recipient nations to progress. Or would South Africa prefer to see drip irrigation removed from country A's basket of goods for sale. Has South Africa charged China with economic domination because of all the infrastructure it has built in various African countries? Has South Africa demanded that Iran's history of poor human rights be improved before it sells oil to African countries? History has shown that countries which were supportive of Israel themselves prospered, and vice versa. They may have had tough times, but they've come out of it all right. Look at Belgium and Holland, for example. Pity that the Syrian and Roman empires are not around anymore to give witness to this phenomenon. Of course, the Palestinian impasse must be solved and the people be given the opportunity to live decently. But this should arise if what we South Africans call toenadering, and what the French call rapprochement, and what the American Indians call powwow, if these factors arise. Shabbat Shalom. I have pleasure in welcoming our rabbi all the way from San Francisco to join us here in Johannesburg. Rabbi, you're on.
Thank you so much, David. And, as we're moving into this time of renewal, it's so important to think carefully about what we support and what we are standing for in our new year. So I really appreciate your words of wisdom across the board. And thank you, by the way, so much, Lynn, for bringing such beauty and light into our lives. We begin on page 130 with Psalm 95. Lechu neranena l'Adonai, navia litzor yishenu, lekanayanu b'torah, b'zmirot nari alo. Ki el gadol Adonai, umelech gadol al kol Elohim, asher beyado tivkerei haaretz, v'to'afot harim lo. For it is the sea that belongs to the divine, and all that God has made, and the land is within God's hands. Come, let us sing joyously to Adonai. Let us come into God's presence with praise, for Adonai is a great God and the ruler of all we see. Turn to page 131. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, shira l'Adonai baruch shemo, basaru miyom li'yom yeshuato, safru b'goyim kvodo, b'chol ha'amim niflotav, ki gadol Adonai u'mechula me'od, norahu al kol Elohim. Ki kol Elohim hashmayim elilim, v'Adonai shamayim asa. Hod fadar lefanaz, od v'tiferet v'ikasho. Yismechu hashamayim v'tegel haaretz, yiram hayam umlo'o, yalu shaddai kol asher bo. Az yirinum kechol atzvei ya'ar, lifnei Adonai lava. Kiva lishbot haaretz, yishbot tegel b'tzedek, v'amim be'emunato. page 132, Psalm 97. And you know, we're in this almost in this holy time of moving ourselves towards the new year, and the new year is really our opportunity to stand in awe of everything that's around us, and to recreate our connection between the Creator and the created by making the world a better place. And one of the first moments of doing that on some very, very basic level is our connection with nature. It's going to the mountains, sitting by the river, watching the birds in our backyard, and being charmed and amazed and delighted by them. And that can help us to move into this mode of understanding that we are the protectors of this earth and of this world. And so this is a psalm really about bringing all that joy up into the world, and how we the righteous ones who can see that, can reflect that up like a mirror to God. Actually, we'll read the translation on page 133. Adonai is sovereign. Let the earth exult. The many islands rejoice. Dense clouds are around God. Righteousness and justice are the base of God's throne. O you who love Adonai, hate evil. God guards the lives of God's loyal ones, saving them from the hand of the wicked. Light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. O you righteous, rejoice in Adonai and acclaim God's holy name. Ozaru ala tzadik uleishereh lev simcha. Ozaru ala tzadik uleishereh lev simcha. We turn now to page 133. Mizmor shir l'Adonai shir chadash, ki miflaot asa hoshia lo, yeminot hazru kodsho. Odi Adonai yeshuato, le'nei hagoyim gilat tzidkato, zachar chasto b'moato, levei Yisrael ra'ucho asvei aretz, yeshuot Eloheinu. Raise a shout, Adonai, all the earth. Break into joyous songs of praise. And our song of praise tonight, as on all Shabbat evenings, was traditionally said when we walked out into the fields to look over the mountains, to rejoice in the beauty of all that has been created for us. Lechadodi, page 138.
Shabbat לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך ומיורי, אורי, אורי, שירה ברי, כבוד אדוני לך נגלה. דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. בואי לשלום על דרך בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצוהלה, טוב ממוני אמסרולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, להגיד בבוקר חלקך, באמונת בלילות, עלי עזות, עלי היגיון בקירות. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת.
Tov lehodot l'Adonai. It is so good to give praise to God. This is the psalm that we are told the Sabbath sang when she was created. Sorry? Momentary beautiful recurrence of this song, indeed the song that the Sabbath sang. And she sang the psalm that is reminiscent of what we will be singing shortly, that we can be like the palm trees that are planted within the sanctuary, that we have this beautiful opportunity to stand and to give fruit and to be admired as we are in front of this holy place. Tzadik katama yifrach yifrach, tzadik katama yifrach, tzadik katama yifrach yifrach, tzadik katama yifrach, ke'erez balvanon yizge, ke'erez balvanon yizge, ke'erez balvanon yizge yizge, ke'erez balvanon yizge, כארז בלבנון יזכה, כארז בלבנון יזכה, יזכה. May we all be blessed to stand and bear fruit in our own special way. Let's turn to page 144. And I'm not rising because you will see just my belly. But it is traditional to rise, so know that I am, perhaps like some of you, rising in my heart. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון ובימיכון ובחייך בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעלמי יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי דקודש בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא ואמרו amen. The call to worship is on page 145. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro mariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach sharim, ובתבונה משנה עיתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים, בממשלותיהם ברקיע כרצונו, בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור, ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv ha'ravim. Page 151. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and grows. What could be a true token of your abiding love? What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gave it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. The Shema is found on page 152.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך. וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. The Eternal One said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelite people and instruct them to make for themselves fringes on the corners of their garments throughout the ages. Let them attach a cord of blue to the fringe at each corner. That shall be your fringe. Look at it and recall all God's commandments and observe them, so that you do not follow your heart and eyes in your lustful urge." Clever, weren't the rabbis? They made us put fringes on our clothes so that the fringes were with us all the time as a reminder of God's instructions. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Page 157. This is a rather interesting prayer. What it does, it tells us in different words and in different examples how God is constantly shielding us from our enemies. Look at it and imagine yourselves being one of the people affected by God's presence at your elbow. In a world torn by violence and pain, in a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, "There's one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love." From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of the world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, מלכותך ראו בניך, פורחי היום לפני משה ומרים, זה
ונאמר כי יפדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Blessed are you, Eternal One, for redeeming Israel. Page 161 at the top. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Eternal God, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Yismachu.
Yom bam bam bam, Shabbat Shabbat. Yom bam bam bam, Shabbat Shabbat. Yom bam bam bam, Shabbat Shabbat. Shabbat Shabbat, Shabbat Shabbat. Yismechu yismechu v'malchutcha. Yismechu yismechu v'malchutcha. Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat. V'korei onigonei Shabbat. Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat, v'korei onigonei Shabbat. Shabbat Shabbat, Shabbat Shabbat, Kolam yisbehu ve'yitanegu mitovecha Shabbat Shabbat. Yismechu yismechu v'malchutcha. Yismechu yismechu v'malchutcha. Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat, v'korei onigonei Shabbat. Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat, v'korei onigonei Shabbat. Shabbat Shabbat, Shabbat Shabbat, Kedat Yamim Oto Karata, Zecher Lema'aseh Bereshit Shabbat Shabbat. Yismechu yismechu v'malchutcha. Yismechu yismechu v'malchutcha. Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat, v'korei onigonei Shabbat. Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat, v'korei onigonei Shabbat.
Please turn to page 164 for the tefillah, or the Amidah.
Adonai sefata tiftachu fi yaditeinatecha. Adonai sefata tiftachu fi yaditeinatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Elohei Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarai Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Gadol Adibor ve'Adonai El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim ve'Konei Hadon Ve'Zofer Chasdei Avot Rimaot U'Mevii Geula Livnei Bneihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Oseh u'Moshiach u'Magei Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah.
Page 168. Atah gibor li'olam Adonai, mechayei hakol atah, rav lehoshia, mashiv haruach u'morid hageshem, mazriach hashemesh u'morid hatal, mechalkel chayim b'chesed, mechayei hakol berachamim harabim, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך? מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. אתה קידשת את יום השביעי לשמך, תכלית מעשה השמיים והארץ, וברכתו מכל היומים, וקידשתו מכל הזמנים, וכן כתוב בתורתך.
ויחולו השמיים והארץ, וחוצה העם. ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי, מלאכתו אשר עשה. וישמט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו. כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, eternal our God, grant as our heritage your holy Shabbat, that Israel, who sanctifies your name, may rest on it. Blessed are you, Eternal One, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Next page. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu b'amcha Yisrael, u'tefilatam b'ahava tekabel, u'tehi l'ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha, el karov l'chol korav, pnei el avadecha v'chonenu, שפוך רוחך אלינו, ותחזינה עינינו בשובך לציון ברחמים. ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר שכינתו לציון. צור חיינו מגן ישענו, אתה הוא לדור ודור. נודה לך ונספר תהילתך על חיינו המסורים בידיך ועל נשמותינו הפקודות לך. ועל ניסיך שבכל יום עמנו ועל נפלותיך וטובותיך שבכל עת, ערב ובוקר וצהריים, evening, morning and noon. הטוב כי לא חלו רחמך, והמרחם כי לא תמו חסדיך, מעולם קיווינו לך. ועל כולם יתברך ויתרומם שמך מלכנו תמיד לעולם ועד. וכל החיים יודוך סלע, והללו את שמך באמת. האל ישועתנו ועזרתנו סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, הטוב שמך, לך נאה להודות. Our prayer for peace. Let's pray for peace in our homes, in our communities, in our cities, in our country at large. Peace is the one thing which seems to elude everybody, and it is incumbent upon us fervently to pray for peace. Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people, forever, for you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and moment with your peace. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. We pause for a few moments of silent prayer.
We gather tonight, and it really is a time for us to be aware and intentional. And this is this beginning of what we do to make our shift, our change into Yom Kippur. You know, and we always ask children the very simple question when we meet them. We say, oh, what do you want to do when you grow up? Who do you want to be? And you hear all the lovely and glamorous things. You want to be a fire person, you want to be a nurse, you want to be a teacher, you want to very briefly, my daughter wanted to be a rabbi just like mommy, but she saw that there were other things to do in the world. And we project ourselves into who we want to become. And that's really kind of the message of this month, is taking stock of what we have been this year, thinking about who we really wanted to have been, and perhaps the barriers that we placed between us and becoming that individual, and making sure that the path is prepared, that everything is ready. You know, when you go for a trip, you put your clothes in and you take your toothpaste and you grab an extra bottle of analgesic in case you have a headache. Everything is ready for you to go. And that's what the month of Elul is about. It gives us the opportunity to realize who we can become. And I want to share with you the words of somebody who's been quite influential to me in terms of thinking what it is that we might become. His name was Thomas Berry. He was, for a long time, a Catholic theologian. But at one point, when he was in an airplane flying over Africa, he looked down and he saw the glory of the land. And he said, I need to rethink who I am. I'm no longer a theologian. When I look at the earth, I find myself to be a geologian. And, you know, we all know about geologists, but he's not a geologist, he's a geologian. And what he says is that his job as a geologian is to be aware that we come from the earth, that we are a functional part of the earth, and that part of our task is working, the great work is making sure that whatever we do, whatever our job is, that we incorporate respect and love for creation into it. And I'm going to give you a quote. He says, this is not a role we've chosen. It's a role given to us beyond any consultation with ourselves. We are, as it were, thrown into existence with a challenge and a role that is beyond our personal choice. And here is really the great part for Rosh Hashanah. He says, the nobility of our lives, however, depends on the manner in which we come to understand and fulfill our assigned role. So how is it that we, right, who were created by the divine, who were placed in the garden, who were then placed outside the garden and given the command to take care of the earth and protect it, how are we going to become those people who had no choice but have vision? We are able to see, like Barry saw, the incredible beauty of creation. And we are able to become, like Barry became, someone else, as well as who we are. We might remain a banker, or a mother, or a teacher. Hopefully we will still remain all of those things. The world needs bankers and mothers and teachers. But we will also need to become geologians, to understand that our connection to the earth and that our divine command is not something that we can choose to be part of or something that we can choose to ignore. We have to be part of it. It is our job to be geologians, to understand that we must realize our own full participation in the reality of nature, in the reality of our surroundings, and to use our wisdom and our banking expertise and our expertise at raising children and our expertise at teaching college students in order to further our work as true humans, doing that which the divine intended for us to do, which is to change the world and to keep the world and to make the world an even more beautiful garden than we could ever have imagined. It is not a task that we've been allowed to choose, but it is a task of great joy. If anybody has ever tended a garden, you know how lovely it is to go out and dig and watch the flowers as they bloom. And it is our responsibility to do this everywhere. And so we can do this. We can think about proper sources of energy. We can choose to use less plastic in our daily lives. We can recycle as much as possible the things that come to us, our clothes, papers. All of these things that we use can also be reused. And we can be geologians. We can study the way in which humans interact with the world and do this alongside of all of our sisters and brothers. And when we are conscious and thinking, and we prepare the path for ourselves as we go into, for us, this new year, we really can make a difference. We can live with intention, and we can smooth out the rough roads that have been leading us away from our divinely implanted task, that of caring for this beautiful world. And so this year, I invite you to think about who you want to be. Do you want to be the one who carries a sign at a march? Safely, no COVID, please. Do you want to be the one who takes used clothing and turns it into something glorious and gives it to your friends? Do you want to be the person who signs a petition, who gives a little money towards making the earth a better place, who reaches out and with your fellow human beings studies the nature of what we have been given and realizes that we have a just and beautiful path to create, all of us together? In this new year, I wish for all of us the blessing of finding those paths and of being able to tend them together in community with our sisters and our brothers throughout the world. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi, for that approach. I hope that it sticks with us and we can all do our little bit towards the salvation of this wonderful planet that we all are lucky enough to inhabit. We turn now to page 122 for the recital of Kiddush by Aryeh Talyan.
ביום השישי הלכו השמיים והארץ בכל צבא וחל אלוהים את יום השביעי מקום מלכותו אשר עשה וישפוט ביום השביעי מקום מלכותו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבע מקום מלכותו אשר ברא לי לעשות. שמונה.
חי.
ברוך אתה ה' אלוהינו לעולם אוהב פרי אגפי.
אמן.
ברוך אתה ה' אלוהינו לעולם שקידשנו בצאתה בצבא ושבת קדושה באהבה ורצון לחתנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית יום תחילה למקרה קודש זכר יציאת מצרים כי באנו בחרתה ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים שבת קדושה באהבה ורצון לחתנו ברוך אתה ה' מקדש השבת. ברוך אתה ה' מקדש השבת.
אמן.
פותח את שדיך ומסביר לכל חי רצון.
אמן.
ברוך אתה ה' אלוהינו מלך העולם המוציא לחם מן הארץ. אמן.
אמן.
Wonderful little mini service inside the service with help from Dad, encouragement from Dad on the side right here. Well done. We turn now to the Aleinu, page 486.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשינו כגויי ארצות, ולא עשנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונה, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצא לארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים עמה, ושכינתו זו בגובי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו ראינות, אמת מלכנו וזולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום לשבותה, לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים עמם, ועל הארץ מתחתינו.
Sorry, that should have been 586. We're now on page 589 towards the bottom. Eternal God, we face tomorrow with hope, made stronger by the vision of your realm, a world where poverty and war are banished, where injustice and hate are gone. Teach us more and more to share the pain of others, especially in these terrible times of COVID, to heed your call for justice, to pursue the blessing of peace. Help us, O God, to gain victory over evil, to bring nearer the day when all the world shall truly be one. Page 595. It is hard to sing of oneness when the world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our life have gone, and naught but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind. But memory can tell us only what we were, in company with those we loved. It cannot help us find what each of us alone must now become. Yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and words, and what they did is part of what we have become. We do best homage to our dead when we live our lives more fully, even in the shadow of our loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world. In each one is the breath of the ultimate one. In affirming the one, we affirm the worth of each one whose life, now ended, brought us closer to the source of life, in whose unity no one is alone and every life finds purpose. At this moment, we think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who passed away at this season in years gone by, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own, as we wish their memories to be with us for a blessing. Zichronam Livracha. We remember Shirley Cohen, mother of Derek Cohen and the late Jonathan Cohen. Bookie Gates, husband of Merle Gates. Anne Wolfe, my mother. Ben Milner, father of Eric Milner and grandfather of Aidan. Eliza Dimont, mother of Simon Dimont. From Bet David in Durban, Eva Sachs, mother of Anita Gresak. Alan Guild, father of Sean Guild. Jaime Gruer, brother of Morris Gruer. Harry Isaacson, father of Jeff Isaacson. Linda Ripko, sister of Larry Goldberg. And Sarah Davis Marks. The following passed away recently: Alan Bailey, son of Melanie and the late Fred Bailey, and brother of Hilton and cousin of Philip Myers. From Brett Menorah, Mirelle Rech, mother of Carla, mother-in-law of Alan, grandmother of Luca, Zeno and Gabrielle Jacobs. Michael Brand, uncle of Lee Brand. Shameen Naidu, dear friend and colleague of Doug and Carolyn Smolin, and mourned by all at the Smolin Group. Gary Sobel, cousin of Gerald Sobel. Shirley Joy Seif, mother of Ralph Seif and mother-in-law of Jackie. Bobby Fraser, grandfather of Ethan Fraser. Chip Siv, husband of Geeky and father of Andrew, Lawrence and Warwick. Chips was a pillar of the Bet Menorah Pretoria community and will be sadly missed by all. Page 598 for Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemay Rabbah v'yomad divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kariv v'emeru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mvorach le'olam ul'olmei olmaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei Dekudashah Brichu Le'ila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata la'amiran bi'olma v'emeru. Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'emeru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael v'emeru. Amen.
Those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. We remember them. We meditate on the meaning of love, of loss, of life and death. Mourners Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemay Rabbah v'almad divrach chirutei v'yimloch malchutei v'chayechon u'meyochayon u'v'chaya dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman karim v'yimru. Amen. Yesh Shmei Rabbah Mvorach le'olam u'lemalya u'lemaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithada v'yithaleh v'yithaleh Shemei Dekudashah Brichu Le'ila min kol britchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nehemata Dimarin v'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yesh Shmei Rabbah min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imrumav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen.
Thank you, Derry Khan, for participating in the service and rendering the Mourner's Kaddish. Thanks go to Doron Kanar and Adam Stale for so ably facilitating the streaming of the services under unusual circumstances. Thanks also to the congregants who contributed videos to the service. Please join Rabbi Elisheva tomorrow at 9 a.m. via Zoom for her weekly Torah study. The link can be found in the weekly Adkan and will be posted on the live chat. A Shachrit service led by Gidi Leaf at 10 a.m. will be streamed live via YouTube on the usual link. See Adkan for details. During the High Holy Days, which are a mere 5 weeks away, there are several ways to honor your departed loved ones this Yom Kippur. Please send photos of family members who passed away recently or in years gone by to be incorporated in a special slide presentation for the Yitzka Memorial Service. At Bet David, congregants can honor a departed loved one with a leaf on our Eitz Chaim, our tree of life, in the gallery of the shul. The new leaves will be dedicated on Shabbat Shuvah, the Shabbat before Yom Kippur, and the names will be read out during the Yitzka service on Yom Kippur. It is a custom at Bet David to distribute the Sefer Chaim for the Yitzka service. For all details, contact the shul office. In response to numerous requests, the Jewish Connection with Rock Music Part 1 will be rebroadcast on Sunday 22nd at 3 p.m. If you missed the first broadcast and would like to see Part 1 as well as Part 2 on Sunday, August 29th, the following Sunday at 3 p.m., it's not too late to book. Bookings are still open at a cost of 190 Rand for both shows. The rebroadcast of Part 1 will be available to all ticket holders. For all queries and banking details, please contact admin2@betdavid.org.za. Rabbi Salomo is running several courses for congregants. A 10-week conversational Hebrew class, Introduction to Judaism, number 2, which is ITJ number 2. This is a chance for students and families from former classes and other interested members to study further. Contemporary Jewish short stories for the love of reading and exploring modern Jewish topics. Please see the latest Adkan for all details. We conclude with the singing of Ein Keloheinu, page 626, and I must just point out that Ein Keloheinu encompasses the various roles which God plays in all our lives. I said earlier on that we can think of God standing at our elbow, and during the singing of Ein Keloheinu, you can really imagine this in all these different roles. As I've said, God is at our elbow, and we should appreciate the fact that He's there and available for us in our time of need. Ein Keloheinu.
Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Eloheinu, Mi Kadonenu, Mi Kemalkeinu, Mi Kemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atau Eloheinu, Atau Adonenu, Atau Malkeinu, Atau Moshienu.
And now for another Hamotzi. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, המוציא לחם מן הארץ. Amen. We now return to Rabbi, who will deliver a final blessing to us. Rabbi Elisheva.
May it be that this week we, like the Jews about to enter the land, bring with us all of our past as well as good hope for our future. May it be that the virus, as it looks like it's doing from the statistics, becomes less of an issue amongst our friends and those who live in our special and holy country. May those who care for all who are ill not be infected. May they be able to give respite and succor. May fewer people die of this virus. May the vaccines be distributed widely so that everybody may come into this new year, whether they are Jewish or not, with the hopes of health. May it be that the recent unrest continues to encourage our outreach to each other, our rebuilding, our discovery of new entrepreneurship, and our hope for a strong and cohesive economy and society development within the boundaries of our beautiful land of South Africa. May it be that each one of us finds something meaningful to do that will work towards creating peace for us in our homes, in our families, in our circles, in our country, and throughout the world. May we all be blessed with the trifold blessing of protection, of awareness, and of peace. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shalom U'Vorach, Shabbat Shalom, Shalom U'Vorach, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Talk to you later.
Sorry, Rabbi, I didn't catch that.
I've got to get Lila to the vet for her rabies shot, so I'm going to zip.